Hello everyone, good day to all. It's me, Mike, Mr. Typhoon Padua, returning to our latest update on Typhoon Indai with international name Bavi. And this is for today, Friday, July 10, 2026, English version, brought to you by Typhoon 2000 and Naga College Foundation. We would also like to thank our partners, 𝗗𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗺𝗶𝗺 and the local government of Naga City, headed by our Honorable Mayor 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗿𝗶𝗺𝗿 and our Honorable Vice Mayor 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗿𝗵𝗺𝗵𝗺. Well, the large Typhoon Indai, which was once a super typhoon, has rapidly weakening right now as we speak. Although the wind area or the wind field area of the storm is still one of the 3% of the largest tropical cyclone ever formed this decade. So it's one up there on the top, being the largest. And Yuan last year was also a large system. Currently, right now, it's 1,300 kilometers in diameter. And U1 is somewhat 1.4 or 1.2. I can't remember anymore. Anyway, so this system is beginning to move towards the northwest, but it's currently bombarded by a sudden appearance of a moderate to strong vertical wind shear around 40 or 25 knot wind shear, 45 kph above the storm. So it's disrupting any further development of the outer eye wall during the eye wall replacement cycle. So without ado, let's proceed now. I'm gonna show to you the latest easterly wave zoom in colored imagery. Okay, this is the infrared, and as you can observe here, the system is currently devoid of any convection here on the lower portion. That's the area where the vertical wind shear started to bombard the tropical cyclone. So most of this area are devoid of any thick convection. Okay, so if you're on this area, you are going to experience some very light rain, drizzle with very strong gusty winds or typhoon force winds as we speak. And then the eye has succumbed, and it's only somewhat a cloud-filled area of swirling low-level circulation. And that's the reason of why the system has weakened during the past 6 to 12 hours. 12 hours ago, the eye is still healthy, okay? And I'm going to show you here. Let me adjust this graphic. Yeah, here's the windy, the latest one. For the past 24 hours, you may observe that the eye has disappeared completely during the arrival of the strong vertical wind shear. So let's wait for it to load. So here we go. Okay, one, and here we go. Okay, you can see that the eye, when it undergoes another, undergone another eye wall replacement cycle, the eye has not able to reorganized. Okay, the inner eye wall has weakened, and there's a new one forming here in the outer edges, but due to the strong vertical wind shear, it's having a hard time to develop. Okay, so it has slowed down slightly at 11 kph as we speak, but so far, let's wait for it to resume towards the northwest, and it is likely to move in the same direction towards the area of Yaeyama Islands. That's in the part of Ishigaki-jima. This area here is Miyako-jima, and this is Ishigaki-jima, and this is part of the Yaeyama Island chain. Some of the models are forecasting it to move a little bit to the let me shift here in this area, but most of them are still tracking here over the northern coastal waters of Taiwan. And we have now the southwest monsoon here affecting western Mindanao, and it's migrating towards the western sections of the Visayas, Cuyu, and Sulu archipelagos, as well as Palawan. And later today, it will migrate more to the north, and it may affect the area of Mindoro, then Bataan, as well as Cavite. And there will be some rainfall that could arrive here in Naga and the rest of the Bicol region. So you can still observe the large wind field area of the system. So it's roughly, if we put some distance tool here, put some here, okay. So it's, if you measure it, it's around 1.4, but let me move this here. Okay, here based on the wind field. So it's roughly that size, okay, 1,300 kilometers, based on the latest from the Japan Meteorological Agency when they issued the latest 8 p.m. satellite, warning on this tropical cyclone. Okay, so let me move now to show to you another image from cyclonicwx.com, and the most powerful enemy of these tropical cyclones are really the strong vertical wind shear. Even though if you're a very powerful system, once there's a robust wind shear, it can quickly weaken the storm. So as you can see here, this side of Indai here has begun to erode, okay, and this is a part of the outer eye wall, which is expected to replace the inner eye wall because of another ongoing eye wall replacement cycle, but it looks like it has degraded as the system moves towards north. That's good news for the folks up here over Ishikakajima and over there over eastern China that will be affected by the system within the next 48 hours from now, since the system is forecasted to accelerate towards the northwest, towards this direction, okay, towards the direction. So let me show to you now the wind shear product from CIMSS, focusing on tropical cyclone Bavi or Indai. As you can see on this graphic, the storm is currently here, but it's on the edge of this increasing wind shear. We have here near the Philippines 45 to 55 kph northeasterly wind shear. So this is the arrow that originates from the northeast. That's why it's called the northeasterly wind shear. And then we have here 30 kph moderate wind shear. So that's the main reason why it's starting to degrade. And let's see if this current approach of the wind shear weakens or relax, there's a probability, a 50-50 chance that it may be able to re-intensify just a little bit, but it looks like it's moving over much cooler sea surface temperature. And since the storm slowed down, it has generated some localized upwelling beneath the storm along the surface of the Philippine Sea. Some cold, what you call this, the cold temperatures are killing the system, okay, alongside with this vertical wind shear. And then once the system reaches here in this area, in this part of East Taiwan Sea, most likely that the what we call as the oceanic heat content might be lower, that will pave way for further weakening of this system. Let me show to you here the latest on the so it's here, the oceanic heat content. So the system is now moving into much cooler oceanic heat content. So I think that's the life of this tropical cycle. It's beginning to decay as we observe on the latest. This is our storm watch, which we issued around 11 a.m. This or yesterday morning. So by tomorrow morning, we'll be creating another one. So the wind speeds here are still highly increased, okay, based on the model output and the forecast from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. But on our next update, we will decrease the wind speeds due to the arrival of that sudden wind shear. So here's the multi-agency tracks. All agencies are here, and then most of them are weakening right now. The system, it's currently here, and this is the next 24 hours and the next 48 hours. So as you can see here, by Friday evening, it's going to be here. Then early Saturday, it will exit the Philippine area of responsibility. So this is power line. So once it exits, goodbye for this storm. But again, since it's a very large system, okay, the enhancement of the southwest monsoon will still continue to affect our country. I'm going to show to you later the latest on the effects. Here's the global models. This includes the AI model, aside from the physics-based model. And let me move this. So the AI model are more on the right side of the forecast track, while the rest of the AI-based model are on the middle, with one outlier, which is the I think this is the NOGAPS, I mean the COAMPS, okay, COAMPS model, which is hitting it directly over type A. So the majority of the track, that black one, is the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, and most of them are tracking the system here, as you can observe on the last multi-track plotting of these agencies. So after 24 hours, most of them are they've separating the track just a little bit. So we will observe in the coming 24 to 48 hours. So here's the model forecast intensity, and there is still two of the forecast. This is the AVNI and the ECMI. That's the forecast model of the ECMWF, showing it to regain intensity. But it looks like the heavier load of these forecast models are here on the weakening side. So most likely the system will weaken here until its final landfall, which is around 48 hours to 60 hours from now. So it will make landfall somewhere here at that point. Okay, and then let me move now to the latest on the global models. Actually, we are just showing to you the ECMWF. So this is now the latest. So by Saturday, the system will be moving out of the Philippine area responsibility, and we have the southwest monsoon is still affecting this part of the country. And then we have another system right here, This is, I think this is 97W. It manages to move towards the west, passing to the south of the Marianas, and it's an active LPA, as you can see on the barometric pressure of 1005. So, but the good news of that system, as it approaches northeast of Yap, it will start to move towards the north. Okay, and then it might miss the Philippine area of responsibility, so this will not be named Josie. Am I right? Hij? Yeah, it's Josie. That's the next name. And then it looks like it will track or curve towards the sea south of Japan. We still have the southwest monsoon here, but since we are moving into the dry phase of the modern junior oscillation, there might be a decrease in overall rain cloud activity over the western Pacific, including our country. So the southwest monsoon will be somewhat dry and windy condition system, but that's still a week from now, so we will observe that. Here's the Google DeepMind showing the track of Bavi for the next 3 to 5 days, and then that smaller cluster of color green is the next system. But the forecast after 7 days is scattering around, so it's not yet at high probability. And we have here the rainfall accumulation forecast for the next 5 days. So this is for today, Friday. There might be some light to moderate to at times heavy rainfall that will or that may occur across the areas of Western Mindanao. This is the continuation of this rainfall. Palawan will be affected, Occidental Mindoro, Western Panay, Western Negros, Guimaras, and also the western sections of Luzon. Beginning today, Friday, and on Saturday, Bicol region will also be affected. Okay, and then on Saturday and Sunday, it will also affect Central and Western Luzon, including Metro Manila. So there are areas here like Western Pangasinan, Bataan, or here over Occidental Mindoro, Sablayan, Mamburao could experience rainfall of more than or exceeding 100 millimeters. And then on Monday, the effects will continue until likely on Wednesday or Thursday it will start to weaken, although the coastal waters of western Luzon will still continue to have rainfall of up to 50 millimeters based on the color scheme of this ECMWF, and it looks like it will extend until Sunday of next week. So the forecast of more than 5 days remains uncertain. So we will return to that area within the next 1 week if the rainfall will still continue. Anyway, here's the simulated infrared images from ECMWF based on the forecast. So this is going to, let me move here. So this is going to be by today, Friday. Although the typhoon here is still fully developed, so this is no longer a reality based on the actual satellite image of the typhoon. And then the southwest monsoon here on Saturday are affecting the western sections of our country, and then on Sunday it will continue. Okay. So that's Sunday. The storm is overland, south over eastern China. So there you go. It looks like until Monday or Tuesday we're going to be under the influence of this southwest monsoonal flow. Now here's the latest rain advisory for Naga City number 4. We issued at 8 p.m. last night. So we are going to expect rainfall on Friday up to more or less 21.3 millimeters. Low flood threat. Then on Saturday and Sunday, this is gonna be the crucial one, because this is the time that the rainfall accumulation, it will be 60 to 40, down to 40 on Saturday and Sunday. So again, take note that let's hope that this rainfall will not drop within an hour or two, because this might bring some hyper localized flooding in flood prone areas of Naga as well as this one. Okay, but on Monday this kind of amounts is considered normal. That's why it's minimal flood threat. So we will observe our weather stations around Naga. Those who are watching this video here in Naga, please prepare. Also in other parts of Camarines Sur, the same value are expected, and in some areas of Western Albay, Western Cam Norte. Okay, those on the eastern side have no problem. The rainfall is very minimal. So I'll be releasing another update, advisory number 5, by tomorrow. I mean today, because it's already Saturday morning. It's 12:40 in the morning, midnight. So maybe expect the update around 8 or 9 later today. So we hope it's still going to go down, because this yesterday morning the forecast number 3, advisory number 3, showed 70 millimeters, and this one is 50 millimeters. This one is 70 millimeters. So it's going down a little bit. But again, let's prepare. Remember, these are forecasts. It says here that these are only estimates and may change as newer weather data becomes available. So we'll wait and see. Okay. And for the wave heights, this area of the East Philippine Sea will have wave heights or large swells of up to 5 meters, while here is around 1 to 2 meters, up to more than 2 meters here. And if we move this into Saturday, Sunday, looks like the southwest monsoon will take its toll. Wave heights here is more than 3 meters over the West Philippine Sea, also affecting the western sections of our country. So this is going to be a choppy weekend. Okay, and then on Tuesday it will slowly weaken, but it's still there, 3 meters in wave or swell heights. Okay, let me move now to the latest on the modern Julian oscillation. So I created this forecast for our country with the help of AI. So I closely made this thoroughly and then issued it. This for the Philippines. So right now we are here. We are on the wet phase, but we are gearing towards the dry phase for the next 14 days. But this forecast remains uncertain. And as we discussed here, again, MJO, or the Modern Julian Oscillation, is an eastward moving pulse of clouds and thunderstorms near the equator, and it circles the globe, or umiikot po ito, okay, within 30 to 60 days. So it affects the rainfall pattern of the tropics from the Western Hemisphere, Africa, the maritime continent, Indonesia, Philippines, and the Western Pacific. So right now we are here, wet phase enhancement. That's why we have a typhoon, a large typhoon. Just take note, when we have a wet phase of the Modern Julian Oscillation, we are having some development of multiple or quadruple typhoons, sometimes large typhoons, just like this one. And then on July 13 to 19, the MJO weekends. So we might be seeing a decrease of cloud rain cloud conditions, but there will still be rainfall. It depends. It will be focused solely on low pressure system, and also the Habagat, the Southwest Monsoon, the IDCZ, and so forth. And beyond July 19, there's a signal here that we are moving into a suppressed drier side of the modern Chilean oscillation, meaning we will be having decreased rainfall. So it will be a problem for the farmlands once again, since we are on a super El Nino climate this year, expected to peak this September, October. So that's the latest on the modern Chilean oscillation. Now let's move now to the latest on the global tropics hazard outlook. As you can see here, week 2, July 15 to July 21, there's another one here, but at a low probability, more than 20%. And July 22nd to July 28, that's the below average rainfall, as we showed to you the modern Chilean oscillation of what's in store after July 19. Okay, and so that ends our update for this evening, or this early morning of July 10, and we will be returning again within the next 24 to 36 hours for another update. From Typhoon 2000, this is Mike Padua saying have a great evening, great morning, and great day ahead wherever you live, whenever you are, and wherever you are. And thank you so much for watching our channel. God bless to all.